Now when I look back at that, I'm surprised. It's almost like I've done this before.
I remember phoning during a lunch break and he's like, I've bathed the baby. I wanted to leave. I'm like, how do you bath the baby? Wait, what? Did you drown the baby? Where's the child? And he's like, where's the child? She's sleeping. I'm like, just please call me. I want to check if she's fine. I'm like, how did you bath the child? Because I was not there.
I've got miracles on miracles, a million little miracles. Miracles on miracles, count your miracles. 1, 2, 3, 4, I can't even count them all.
What is happening, elenemfam?
Hey elenemfam, welcome back to another video. My name is Nkuna, also known as Letho. Thank you so much for returning to our channel. Today we have Mpumi and Ntsako again as part of our first time parenting series. So like we said on Tuesday, they're gonna be sharing their journey today on being first time parents. They already have 2 kids, but they're just gonna share about the first time their first time parenting. Yes. If you're new to the channel, please make sure you click on the subscribe button and join the elenemfam. And if this is your second time or third time you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for returning to our channel. We love you and we appreciate you. And this right here is my husband, who is going to introduce himself and then tell you more about our couple.
What is happening, elenemfam? My name is Mr. Chamchaladai, also known as Mr. Chamchalo God. People change, but not God. Is it 2 chains or not God? We never know about that one. The leader of the new school, captain of the winning team, man of integrity from the highest house of society, the principal of principles, Mr. DJ, which you play my song, my life is a disaster. Pastor, also known as Umkulu, Wabakulu, Abakulu, Abakulele, Wamkulu, no Makulu, Basokulu, also known as Ibuda, and Ijan of the Bafondins, Hrotmans of the Magodins, Abuti Tolaka, Babuza Besuti. Sorry, baby, I can't tolagala.
I'm sure if you are at day 1, you know this intro was not this long from the beginning. It's long.
That's why sometimes I decide not to do the whole thing.
With each video, it's like there's something.
It's a story. It's a story, baby. So yeah, before we blab, elenemfam, thank you so much for coming back to watch Mpumi and Ntsako. I always want to say Nkuna. Like in my head, that's his name. Like that's his. I'm not used to referring to him as Ntsako. So yeah. So as my wife has said, that they're gonna be sharing their journey of first time parenting, and the reason why we've decided to do this series is so that we can shine a light on just the challenges and obviously the joys of what couples go through on their first experiences of parenting. And you might be sitting there and with your husband, and all of a sudden you feel like your husband has changed and you don't know what to do with them. But unfortunately, so you'll find out that you can actually relate so much with this content. So we really are hoping that you're going to find value in the content that we're putting out on this series. And yeah, fam, welcome back.
Thank you.
Your back is like you never left.
It's like we never left.
Yeah, like you never
still
left.
Here.
Yeah, man. So you have introduced yourself like in the past week, but there might be someone that didn't watch that video and they're seeing you for the first time. So just a brief intro, and if you don't mind as well, you can tell us who are you, whose parents you are, if you don't mind sharing their name and how old they are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you again for having us. My name is Ntsako Nkuna, and we are parents. This is Ntsako and Mpumi Nkuna, and we're parents to 2 kids. Zoe, who's 4, Fumani, who's 20 months, so he's turning 22 months, huh? 22 months, and he's turning 4 in November. He's turning 2, what am I saying? Yeah. So with that, I'd like to hand over to my wife.
Hi guys, I'm Mpumi and Nkuna, and over and above that, we've been married for 6 years now. So this year's year 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So today we're just gonna be talking more about Zoe's experience, the first time you became parents.
Sure.
How was that? Like, was it planned? Did you plan this? Okay, now we've been married for this long, we are ready for Zoe.
And the reason why we ask if the baby was planned or not is so that we can understand whether it makes a difference if the baby was planned or not. You know, yeah, that's really the reason why we ask that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so with Zoe, I can honestly say it was not planned.
Okay.
So Zoe so initially we got married in 2017, and with 2017 November, we found out that we're pregnant 2018 November.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the things we were telling ourselves when we got married 2017, we're gonna have 5 years, where we're gonna be a couple, we're gonna do things together, we're gonna travel, we're gonna pursue our careers, our goals. So that was the plan.
Yeah.
Then after we had celebrated the anniversary, we had with KZN doing our traveling thing.
Yeah.
So we did a home pregnancy and we found out that we're pregnant there.
Wow.
So
After traveling.
during the traveling, I was hoping it was something she ate because she was unwell. I was thinking it's okay. She had something. It can't be this.
Yeah, she's gonna be
But
fine.
she's like, you know when you go to clicks and stuff, you get the stuff that you used to, and then like, let's also take that.
Let's just.
Yeah, but it was the
rule it out.
first thing. Like,
Yeah,
it was
let's
the-
rule it out.
Just it was just to rule out
yeah.
and then continue with the trip.
Wow. So did that, like, knowing that you were not planning the pregnancy, how did that affect you mentally, like after having Zoe?
So that we were traveling to Durban, and then we talked about the following year we're going to book an international trip. So
Yeah.
I was already working on it, and I gained a bit of weight, so I was losing weight for that
For this.
vacation.
Yeah.
That one, I'm going to be scissoring, you know. So I'm like, there is no way. Like, how did this happen? Why are we here?
Yeah.
So I think there were a lot of questions, and I remember going to speaking to my mom saying, can't we pause the pregnancy and just resume at least 2020? And to do things like that happen, is there a prayer that I can say? And she was like, you can't say that because there are people that are praying for a child, and here you are being given something that you've never even
It's a
asked for,
blessing.
and you're saying pause. I'm like, no, I didn't say it must end. I'm just saying we will resume. And she's like, you don't resume.
How do you pause it?
So I also had to change the way that I looked at the pregnancy, that some people are still even now praying for a pregnancy. It's a beautiful gift. And the fact that God would look at you and say, I'm giving you something you haven't asked for, that's the grace of God. Embrace that. It was a bit tough because you just started working out, and also one of the things that was making me sick is I'm running and I feel like throwing up. And then you have cramps. So I guess it was a pleasant surprise.
Wow.
Sorry guys, I'm gonna keep looking at that. Sorry, before.
Okay.
So when I look at my phone, don't think I'm being distracted. Like we just the questions preempting them.
Sure.
Just to, can I add to what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying what to you. When we found out that we're pregnant, we had so many other plans that didn't necessarily include a child. So we got to a point where, you know, the GPS rerouting. So you try and you still want to do all those things you want to do.
Yes.
But you're trying to find a different place where you can fit them in.
Oh,
So what I was supposed to do the next year, maybe if I was supposed to go to school, I'm like, okay, I'll move it up by a year.
By a year,
I'll move it up by a year. I'm gonna do this thing 2 years down the line. It's always at a specific age. So it's difficult when you're doing it. But it's also, I think it's also, for me at the time anyway, it was just coming to terms with, it wasn't necessarily a bad thing. It's something I felt like it's happening. And let's work around it. Let's use it. And it's a
You
part of our
accept it.
lives.
You
accept
accept
it.
it. Yeah.
And I think just like sometimes you feel like things have to happen next year because you
Yes.
thought of it happening
Yeah.
next year. But the one conversation we had is the universities will not close next year because we're having a baby. They will still be open the following year, so you haven't lost anything.
No, it's interesting that you had to change your outlook, because sometimes we do have these plans, but then and sometimes they just don't work out the way we would have loved for them to happen. And then now, obviously, the pregnancy continues and Uzo arrives. Did you? Let's start with you. Did you experience any physical changes now that Uzo
Especially you were like going hard, working out, ready for that vacation. Now, Like, what happened with your new body?
The new body. I have always, and I think identity, why do we define ourselves on our weight, right?
Yeah.
So when you get to the scale, you know, I'm this side. I'm not on the other side.
Yeah.
Now I had to get used to, when you go shopping, you can't pick certain clothes. You've got to choose clothes that make you look different. I had a abdominal stomach that would just not go away. And I was like, can't you because I've done the waist training, I've breastfed, so according to all the things I should have done, I should have a flat stomach by now. So I think that was tough, you know. The way that I dressed as well, prior to the baby, I know how I like to dress, and my husband also likes the way that I dress. So I was very clear that I'm going back to that figure, you know. Now you can't fit into those clothes, and I'm like, why am I dressing like I'm a mama? I'm not a mama. I am a child. So I did experience weight gain. I even look at pictures where I had a chin, I had cheeks, and I had to embrace that this is the new me. How do I dress comfortably that it's not as tight? Because if it's tight, then it becomes self-conscious, and then I'm not comfortable. And you can see that I'm not comfortable. And then just wear looser clothes. I think that's what I had to come accustomed to. And they made me feel a bit better that, I'm not that big because it's loose, or there is something that's loose on me, you know. I think that's something that I had to really work on. It was tough. Looking at yourself in the mirror was difficult. That where did this come from, you know?
How did you feel, Ntsako, about the new weight? Were you fine? Let me encourage my wife to go running.
No, okay. For me, it was like I had to be understanding. I understood how she felt about the weight, and I could see what she was trying to lose the weight. The way she was eating something. The amount of work she was putting in at the gym. So I couldn't come in there and be like, no, Njanja, no. I was like, what is encouraging me? You look good. You look good. Don't stress, baby. Don't stress. You look good. Like, and I think it paid off. It did pay off. Let me say that.
And I think it's very important. Like the support is very important. Like it goes a long way because when you look at the gift that you've just received, I think it surpasses everything that you can look at. I mean, when you look at Uzoe, you look at this weight, you're like, man, this weight is nothing. I mean, if I have this gift here, so I think it's also like a perspective thing where you can say, I'm not happy with what I have or where I am right now, but I'm working towards that. But look at that gift.
That's so true. And then in terms of, because I know a lot of women, sometimes they experience baby blues, postpartum depression. Were you spared from that?
I didn't have postpartum depression, but I definitely had anxiety just after the baby. That at some point I'd wake up, is the baby still breathing? You know, and I'd do like random self-tests, like what, go here. Sometimes I'd be like, this person's been too quiet, let me pinch them. Okay, let me tickle them, and let me take the dummy out just to make sure that the baby's still fine. So I had a lot of anxiety. I think I had to leave him with the child, and I phoned maybe once every 10 minutes, and he's like, please stop calling. I'm like, is the child doing this? Did you do that? Did you do that? I'm like, I'm coming home. He's like, please leave us.
What did the baby
so he'd be like, please leave the house. I'm like, no, I just need to be here and watch everything. So I was very, I would say almost like controlling. I would write things down. At 6:01 they ate, at 6:20 they slept. I'm like, I don't understand, who is this helping? But I just felt that if I knew everything about the baby, then I'm present, I'm active. And I really felt I was misunderstanding what motherhood is about, because you can't be there,
especially as a first time mom.
You know, you can't. I would cancel things and just be like, I'm not coming, I'm not available. And at some point I thought, okay, so this is life for the next 20 years. But I'd be like, it's gonna be long.
I was actually about that, Mpumi. You know, I asked my grandma. They were visiting over December. I was like, you know what? Every time I leave Lula, I'm always worried. I'm always conscious. I'm like, what's happening with him? Is he fine? Then I asked, when does this stop? And he said, no, I still worry about your mom. What do you mean?
About your mother.
What do you mean? You still worry about my mom? So I think it's something that you just have to accept and just trust God.
Live with it. And
I think just on trusting God, like I would set alarms, not feeding time, just me checking is the baby still fine, and it wouldn't ring, and I'm like, God, but why didn't you wake me up? And I remember one day praying, and God said, I will lead you with this child. So there I started to relax. That okay, we are on this journey together.
And when Ntsako, how did it affect you?
For me, I think initially I was very calm, so I was more reacting to her.
Yes.
But I think when there was a week, I think was it 2 weeks after we had given birth, you had to go to, so there was a course that you had to attend for like a whole week. So for that week during the day, I was with the child, and I was very relaxed. I understood it's okay. Yeah, Kala. These are the type of foods, but I wasn't like extremely stressed. Or anything. I always reacted to her because she's like, you need to go check the baby. You must please go check. So that's what I was reacting to. But I was very chilled. Now when I look back at that, I'm surprised. It's almost like I'd done this before.
I remember phoning during a lunch break. It was like, I've bathed the baby. I wanted to leave. I'm like, how do you bath the baby? Wait, what? Did you drown the baby? Where is the child? And he's like, where's the child? She's sleeping. I'm like, just please call me. I want to check if she's fine. I'm like, how did you bath the child? Because I was not there.
Yes.
I was just like, so this guy baths the child by himself. And I also thought, like, have you looked after a child before?
But I look at it. Because I also had my younger, so there's a point of reference. I'm 13 years older than my youngest brother.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So we are back to Mangush when it's a baby.
Yes.
Baby, I'm changing napkins. Like you're used to those things. And I think maybe I had a bit of that when I had my child. Okay, I've done this. So it was about right.
Wow. Yeah, I love how fathers are always so relaxed. We've
done this thing before. Been fathering 20 other kids, like virtually.
Wow. And then, like in terms of the help, did you have help? Especially the first few weeks.
I think maybe before we even got to that one, I would love to know how you guys were communicating, like your emotions. So were you able to express how you were feeling now? Because I mean, you're saying you were very, like, you were hands-on. You were hands-on. You almost wanted to say controlling, because that's what she was, and I think you could have used that word.
Is he not just taking us out? Like...
So were you really?
I was attentive, not progressive. I was very attentive.
Were you able to express how you were feeling so that he also understands, because you are in this journey together? So were you able to express yourself to him?
I think the week before we had our child, I just felt pressing to really sit him down and just tell him what I was going through, because we're rubbing the bump, the baby's kicking, but we're not really saying. And then I said, I'm really scared, because this has been fun watching this person grow, but in a couple of weeks somebody comes into the house, and I'm really scared about how am I going to do it, what's going to happen. So I don't know what to expect. I've never been a mom before, you've never been a dad, so I don't know. And I think that conversation really helped, because then when I was anxious, he'd be like, no, it's fine. We'll do it together. This is happening. I remember once the baby was crying and I phoned him, he came from work. By the time he got there, the baby was quiet, but I was like, she wouldn't stop, so here is your child, take her. It's just like,
I actually remember, like, I got so many calls from her, like, panicking. And the baby was stopped. Like, I'm at work at this time. She's on maternity. She's calling me with the baby won't stop crying. And luckily for me, at that time, I was like 5 minutes drive away from her. So I could like quickly pop in. I'm like, I'm ready to be driving a child to That's but you know what you're saying, because now it's an emergency. I'm just rushing out. So I'm on my way to the hospital.
Okay. Did you just want to
what's
come
happening?
Home?
And sometimes I got frustrated, because I wouldn't be like angry at her or whatever. Like, baby, you just, mama, that's so, just for a few minutes long, I think you'll be okay.
Just be patient.
Like, it's little things. I can't be watching TV. You should be in the room, and she starts screaming. And now I'm running to the bedroom. No, the baby's coughing and.
So and how were you? Obviously, there were way you felt differently to how she was feeling. Were you able to express those feelings to her? Why you are so calm, and why you think it's gonna work out? I
did not express them. I was catering to her anxiety at that time. And like it's only things now when we sit down and we look back and I'm like, when you're busy calling me, that thing was annoying. It was unnecessary. No, but it's only now we can have those conversations. But at the time,
because at the time it would have ended well. I just came from labor.
No.
You telling me I'm annoying.
so I'm like,
That guy.
yeah, I'm like I at those times I felt like the baby's gonna be okay. But I didn't express those things, those views at that time. Because it would have been, she was going through a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to add and now being argumentative to know this is how you do. And
Wow, that thing was annoying.
That thing that you did, that was annoying.
no,
I don't do it anymore.
when the conversations come up and we're looking back,
It's easier.
And now that we can laugh about it, we are emotionally strong. It's a joke. Then it would be like a wound. You know what?
Oh, and I tell you something about the baby. This is how you act.
No, it's true. I mean, like I always say that marriage is not for the faint-hearted. So I'm saying, I'm done.
elenemfam, if you are enjoying this content, please make sure that you click on that subscribe button if you're not part of elenemfam, and if you are elenemfam, click on the like button. And if you are feeling so generous, you can click on the thanks button as well, so that we can get some funds, so that we continue to produce this kind of good quality content. Over to you, madam.
You ready for my question?
Your question.
I've been asking over this is like, okay, can I ask my question now? So my question is, did you have any help? I do like this question, guys, because I feel like it also prepares me for my next child. Just to hear other people's experience. What help did you have? What helped you make things easier?
Thank you for confirming that there's another child also. We are open to having another child. That was confirmation on camera, right? Thank you.
You just play this video and be like, you said.
You committed.
So the help was a very big part for me. But at some point, I wanted to be alone with my child and see how I would handle and how I would grow from this experience. So in the beginning, my mom came, we came back from hospital. I think it was that same day she landed.
Yeah, I picked up from there.
Yeah, so she dropped us off, we didn't went to fetch her. So it was like we literally did it together. And then for 7 days. And then he was on paternity leave for 2 weeks after. So the first 3 weeks we were together.
Okay.
And after that, I didn't have a nanny until month 3, because that's when I would be attending as well. So I really wanted the nanny then. But for those 2 months, I wanted to be, okay, it's me and you. Let's do this thing and let me see myself also grow. I also wanted to not have too many hands at Nami. I'm not actively involved, and then I relax, you know. So I wanted to feel those emotions and go through it. At times, I felt this was a bad decision when the child is crying. I'm tired, and at one point I was like, I'm also gonna cry because I don't know why you're crying. So I remember talking to her like a girl, like, you're a girl, I'm a girl. Don't do this. And then after that, okay, you actually can't do that. Let me take the child and see what to do. But having looked back now, I would have probably got a helper in the 2nd month, not the 3rd month. Just moved to the month earlier. Because in essence, then it was 1 week that I was alone. And then just bring the helper. But I was very clear. In that discussion a week before, I really felt, I poured my heart that I would need a nanny. And I had a nanny. So before we got married, I was single. I had a nanny. I had a nanny for me. I had So when we got married, I was like, I don't have an auntie now. I'm like, I don't see in the budget nanny, but I need a nanny, you know, to run the household. So it was very clear there must be a nanny going forward. And before we even got pregnant, somebody started coming. I'm like, do you see the thing in the house?
It helps.
So you need help. So I'm pro help, guys. Always.
That's nice. Like, especially like, you know, having a nanny. I actually like what you said about not wanting someone immediately after like giving birth, because you're a first time parent. You don't want people to influence you. I was also like that. I didn't want to have a nanny immediately. I just wanted to establish my own routine to see, to try out. Okay, it doesn't work if I bath him at 6 at night. How about we move it to 5? I don't want someone else to come with their own theories, their own strategies, and now influence me and say, no, this is the way to go. And also, if I'm failing at something, I don't want them to form an opinion already.
Correct.
But then Didn't you say you'd have loved, or am I understanding it differently? Because
Not the help, not the influence.
okay, would it not, when someone comes to help, let's say like your mom is here, and then they obviously maybe have a certain way of doing things that you might not necessarily agree. Does help me understand there?
Okay, for me, I don't want them to come and tell me what to do. I want them to come and help me do what I'm
be
doing.
a helping hand.
Yeah. So if I tell them that the baby takes a bath at 6, I don't want them to tell me no, the best time is 7, so that they sleep. No, I don't want that. Yeah.
So I think with my mom when she came, yes, we're doing it together. But I remember once she held Zoe and she cried. I said, I don't like hearing the child cry like that. Can we do it this way? And she made it a joke and she said to Zoe, imagine this is then you and she's like the way mama comes corner Zoe, and I'm like, that's my mom. And then I'm just like, do I say something because she's still my parent? And I'm like, no, but I just like it like this. And because I said it that way, I think it was better received to say, no, it's fine. You are the mother, and I'm glad she also gave me that. That was really big for me then. She's not coming to influence, but really I'm being allowed to be a parent. And if I say I don't like this, I shouldn't have to justify. I just don't like it, and it is okay. So I really appreciated that. And when my nanny came, it was, this is how we are doing things. This is how we're going to raise this child. And this is what I need you to do. And I was very happy that she also understood.
Yeah, but it's always difficult having a stranger in your house when you. It is. It's a very difficult. For me, it was like, I don't know. I wished Uti she could be there at 6:30, and then at 4:30 she could go be wherever.
Is that why you tried that whole thing?
No. Okay. The reason why we tried that, we didn't try it. That lady demanded it.
That lady.
That lady demanded it.
She said she can't sleep over. She's got things to take care of.
Okay.
Yeah, but obviously, whereas Kati, you understand the convenience of having someone who's there, and you can deal with emergencies. You can keep up with the flexibility within your relationship. Because otherwise, if you don't have anyone there, then you know when you come back from work, it's you and the kids every day.
And you just don't feel like you're living life. I think that's also in that period. It was a very dark period. I felt a lot of resentment towards myself, and I always was like, why didn't I work hard enough that I could have a nanny that I could say, I'm paying you this much and this is what I'm expecting of you. Why am I allowing somebody else to control me, and yet I can't influence that with a better salary? So that also made me hungrier to say, work hard so that you can be in that controlling seat. But now that you're not, it's a pain that you just have to deal with.
Yeah, that's tough. So do you feel like, because now you were saying you had your mom and then later on you had your nanny, do you feel like having your mom there, just your mom, was enough to help you through the first few weeks of your parenthood?
I would have loved to have her for a bit longer. I think that definitely I would love to have her for a bit longer, but she definitely helped me transition, helped me heal. And a lot of the conversations we had, it wasn't so much the child, but really what she was imparting with me in that week. I felt so close to my mom after that we've entered into another dynamic of our relationship, and just how to treat my husband, how I looked at him. I would focus on the child, and she's like, she would come into the room and be like, excuse me. And I'm like, what? Your husband came home. I'm just like, but you can see we are. I was defensive. This woman was with me during the day, but now she's changing. And she's like, please, attend to your husband. This person must come second, because if you do this with the first child, he will always know I come after children, and then you will hear your husband saying, I want no more kids because of how you've treated him. So just those kind of lessons that she gave me, powerful lessons, and I'd go attend to him and she'd give me a wink like, you're doing good, you know. I'm like, you know, I got this.
But I could see her pushing you.
It's hard.
Okay. I'm not going to say that.
Were you excited about
I would always like to know why he's around.
Because I think he was experiencing the treatment that she had. I also felt at the end, I think that's the kind of wife I want to be. That maybe I was also sleeping, that I relaxed, you know. Then I thought, no, I can take it a step higher, you know.
It sounds like having like a child, it did influence your marriage and it made it better from what I'm hearing. But I don't know, like, what changes did you experience after having a baby in your marriage?
I think
Any.
okay. I think having a child, obviously, the influences complicate things.
Yeah.
It complicate things. Obviously, it's a new set of expectations.
Yeah.
I mean, when there's just the two of us, I have my expectations of Mpumi.
Yes.
Yeah.
To a large extent, they are met. So I'm not gonna, it's what those expectations that I have come from what I liked from her
Yes.
initially.
I get you.
When there's a baby, my expectations suddenly change,
Yeah.
and they relate to how we engage when we have the baby. So it's as simple as something as simple as her wanting to go out.
Okay.
My expectation is that you need to be at home taking care of the baby, or you need to help me, because when she says I'm going out, that means I'm left alone with the baby for whatever period of time.
Yes.
So my expectations start to change. I expect you to be at home.
Yes.
I expect you to deal with what the baby needs. Yeah, once children come into your relationship, the expectation that you have of one another, those change. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes you might not necessarily be able to meet those expectations.
Yeah.
So even things as simple as basic as money, we could afford to. We used to go out on relationships and stuff. So now my expectation on dates, I mean.
Yeah.
So now my expectation suddenly is that if we aren't able to go out on a date on this specific day, she's gonna understand the money was used for that side.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she necessarily understood.
I think it was an adjustment. Definitely the way in which we lived before kids. I didn't feel like that pressure of, okay, you need to budget. Yeah, you budget, but there's variable. Now you're just like, hi, strict. This guy is very strict now. What just happened? He changed. And I also thought, maybe I woke up next to somebody else. Like, I'd look at him like, so, but it was for the right reasons. And I remember we were talking before we got married, before we had our child. We felt that it was a long date. It was nice. You go like after church. The church has ended. We are going. It was a long date. Now you need to talk about life cover, medical aid, stability, bills, and you're just like, when do we have fun? Because I'm used to having fun. So when are you going to have fun with me? It's like, okay, we're going there. Only then we're having fun. So this whole time. And I think I also felt like maybe I should tell him I'm still your child. I am your first child. So cater to me and also our baby, but don't feel like we've covered the baby and then I'm just sitting there sour. So it definitely brought a lot of structure to our marriage. I'm having a child. A lot of serious conversations that we had, and more meaning to our marriage. I think now we realize, hey, dude, we're parents. Like,
A reason to leave.
Reason to live, true, absolutely. And I think also the reason to stay. I mean, sometimes you feel like this thing is not making sense. Maybe I can call my mom, be like, I want to go home. But now you just have another reason to fight that I can't allow this child to not experience that. So I'm staying for them. I also had that expectation that because you can say I'm trying hard to stay, don't push me, Don't push me. Don't do these things that are going to be making me be like, okay, it's like that.
But like you're saying, it adds a different dimension to your relationship. It adds that value. Things you wouldn't have necessarily noticed money to, because I don't know, it feels like you're not doing marriage. Money is like
you feel like a John. You just feel like it's a little Christian day. They see us in public, we're holding hands, no one's gonna ask us questions. We get to go home together, but you don't feel like I'm married. After children, I really felt we are married. This is serious,
that flexibility just disappeared overnight. You can tell us on Wednesday, or you're having something in KZN on Friday.
We're there. We'll even contribute because we're good. Now you're like, do you want contribution or do you want me? Because and if you have me, there's no contribution. So
just understand.
I could be there, but not there.
No, I get that. I mean, like I was just telling my husband, we were talking about it. So good to see. Like we used to attend each and every church event. Now you can't be attending outreach, social, like you can't do that.
You have to cut down. To see the kids.
Yeah.
You have to have that at the
Yes.
back of your mind. So you can do one thing maybe, and then you have to go see your kids. But if you're out the whole week, it's like wow.
Yeah. And you have to be intentional, man. Like in terms of spending time with the baby, because time passes by so fast and so quickly, and to such an extent that one day you'll be a stranger, you'll just be strangers here, and then they're like, hey, and then you want to spend time with them, and they're not really interested now. They've got friends.
Talking about spending time, do you ever experience mom guilt?
Yes, I experienced mom guilt, and I think this year I had to really overcome that and be stingy with my diary, that I will not be logging on 7 o'clock till 5 and all I get is well done, fantastic work, but my child doesn't know me. So I will log off 3:30. I'm going to fetch my child. We're going to have ice cream and popcorn and come home. And then I feel I'm more productive. I will log back on at 10. Is it urgent? Not. See you tomorrow morning. So I realized nobody was going to make that decision for me. And yet I was really resenting a lot of people. My boss. Then I'd feel like, no, but maybe you didn't do enough for me. And I'm not communicating that expectation. But yet, who am I angry with? I remember going to God saying, I don't know who I'm angry with, but I'm just really angry. And this means a lot to me and I can't do it. And I don't understand why. So that's one of the reasons that I felt, okay, if this employer is saying this is the salary, but I'm no longer here. Let me move forward. And I remember saying, how am I going to explain this in an interview? I'm very clear. This is what I'm looking for. My feedback discussion with my boss is not I'm performing it. I want to run. Let's talk about that. How are you going to help me to do that? I want to be present. He shouldn't know I've achieved his targets. And I'm saying, my 4-year-old is saying, Mommy, you came home late because of your targets. So please expect that I won't be online. And I really feel I'm happier, you know? So now I have less guilt that, okay, I'm working at 10 o'clock, but don't worry, tomorrow we'll be together. And I had to make that decision for myself and bring him on board to say, when I'm at this time, it's because this is what I'm doing. Please support me. And now I feel like I don't have much more. I would love to be more with my kids, I think, but at times I know I've got to go and work, and I understand that, but at least now there's less guilt and I'm more at peace, and I don't feel like I resent people in the house, because I would give people looks like you know, I mean, even like auntie, you're on TikTok but you are at work and you're just like, am I gonna be that employer? I'm approaching this the wrong way, you know?
And you?
I think
Is there a thing called dad guilt?
Well,
I think there is. I don't know.
I think parent guilt.
I think for me, I'm starting to see it. When I'm starting to, because my daughter, she's at a point where she can talk now. So firstly, when she was much younger, she used to cry and fight, Masamba, and we're leaving her behind. She used to cry and fight, and these days, Manhamba is like, bye bye, mommy, bye bye, daddy. It's like, oh, okay. Like it hits different. You're not ready for it. Like you don't want to cry, but it's like it's gone now.
Don't you want to cry?
She gave up, so she's like, it sounds like
don't put it like that.
I don't think she gave up. I think she understands that there is time for us and now there's time. Because I remember I was clashing with my daughter a lot, and I felt like, why am I clashing with a 2-year-old? Because it has to be me. It could never be the child. But the more time I spent with her, understanding with her, I'd hear comments like, Mommy, you're so pretty. Mommy, I'm sorry for being rude. I'm like, so if I spend time and I understand how she works, then she also understands you spend time with me, now you get to go. But she's crying because you just came, dropped off her bag, changed the t-shirt and you're gone.
Sure.
That's also not fair.
But right now we went to church with them and we dropped them off. My son would normally cry, but because I think he's got that understanding of Uti, we actually spend time together. So now that you guys are leaving, it's fine. It's fine. We can be cool. So
sure.
It's very important to find that balance.
I'm so sorry. I wanted to add something about marriage and time. That we were raising our kids, and especially with our daughter, it was almost like the joy of our marriage is what the child did. But I remember at times like, do you still find me attractive? Are you still like keen? And I would change my hair and the focus would be the child. And I'd be upset. Okay, you didn't notice that, dude. You came home, I'm wearing like a mini skirt. Like things are happening, and it's just like, love, where you going? I'm like, where am I going? I am trying to get your attention, you know? So we did a lot to like date couples because I really felt. I think we also had that discussion. We felt our marriage is regressing, and we really never said, "Hey, what happens if in a year's time when we both are like we are done?" And it would be us. It's our fault. It's not like somebody else came in the picture. So we dated other couples who also gave us that advice that spend time together, but also your kids must know it's mommy and daddy time. So it would be a thing like Thursday's mommy and daddy time. We need to go. Like let's leave the house, dress up, put lipstick on, so that you can also feel like I'm parents, but I'm still a wife. Otherwise, it's, did you change the nappy? This is not romantic. Like, is this it? You know?
But it goes back. It goes back to being intentional about your relationship of where you guys want to see yourself as a couple. Because the kids at sometimes the way it all comes at you, you know, all you end up doing is just focusing on them, what they want, what their needs are, and you forget about the relationship. And I think we dropped the ball on that. So there were so many things that, and one of the things that I wanted to avoid is we get to a situation where you end up blaming the child for all your problems. Uguti, if you didn't come, if this child you know, would be in a happy marriage. Because a lot of the things that we were neglecting to do, so like going out on dates, all the things that we used to do, where the stopping happened when the kids came into the picture. So just to avoid that low-key resentment for a child who didn't do anything, it's just because you dropped the ball. So we had to work on that and just be intentional on prioritizing our relationship.
Babe, did you see my mini dress yesterday?
Please appreciate our efforts.
When we were going out.
Like, no, yesterday in the house.
Yes, in the house.
No, I definitely saw that one.
That's good. Please see the effort. Like you won't be there, like picking up things. Do this. You're like this guy. I have gone to God. Like this
reminded me. You reminded me, Mpumi, because yesterday I was very intentional. I went for a run and then I came back. I wore this mini dress and I was just walking around. He didn't comment. I was like, "Do you see the dress? Can you see
please."
It's funny that I actually did notice, but it's the time you were still working. You were working. I was like, she's dressed up. I'm like, why is she dressed? Me, I'm thinking, why is she dressed up for work? Why is she working from home?
It's not for us. Like, really, it's not for us.
I missed it.
You know,
I really did.
Like sometimes I'll just walk because he works in a different space but at home, and he's like, "Do you need anything?" I'm like, just came to say hi.
For me also, like after work, like when I'm wearing heels at work, and then, but you've never asked me, do you drive with heels? Because I'll come inside the house wearing heels still, so that you see my outfit like this. At work, and then hey baby, you're back. I'm just like, do you see though? I'm wearing
heels. I mean, that's your look, you know.
No, there's an agenda. Like we're intentional, you know.
I guess you need to do better in that space.
I think one thing that in the conversations that I was having with my mom after the baby, she was just like, tie your stomach. I don't want to hear things of now. Your weight is somehow you're not taking care of yourself, and then poor Ntsako is sad, you know. And I would look at it like, are we having this talk now? Because it's sounding like the puberty talk. And then she went there like, this woman, and I'm just like, she's like, your husband must still be happy in marriage with a child. I'm like, yes, he will be happy. And she's like, he doesn't only get happy that he must watch you around the house. And I'm just like, she's like, auntie is in your house, so auntie doesn't dress like that, make it clear, but you dress like that. So I'd run, put on those shorts, and it's like, oh baby, I'm like,
your mom is a hero, man.
No, that woman,
that's good.
So last question. Oh, your parting remarks. We're done.
Sure, parting remarks. You want to go first?
Parting remarks. Okay. Kids, new parents. This whole thing is a journey. The things that you have anxieties over, probably not so bad. I don't know but I think the kids grow and it becomes, and it's a very beautiful journey. You watch them as they discover new things, as they gain their independence. So you don't have to worry about every little thing. Watching your child feed themselves for the first time, you know, okay, that's one thing off my list. But I think it's a beautiful journey. Enjoy it. Enjoy them while you still can, because they grow up very fast.
I think for me it would be enjoy your children together and allow each other to be parents. I think one thing that I was praying for before we got a child is certain characteristics in my husband, that I'd love him to be like this. And with our children, I was like, God, I don't know how you work. Like those characteristics came. So there are times where I'll have to step back and allow him to be the father, because he is the father to those children, and he needs to lead them his way. And I shouldn't contravene what he's saying, because then the children see, oh, this one is like this and that one is like that. So embrace each other's parenting styles. And maybe we might need to have a conversation where, okay, I like this, you like that. You're not going to always know everything, so allow the other person to also be a parent as well. And taking a step back is as powerful as taking charge. I think another thing is, don't let yourself go. Continue to work hard and work for your dreams. And I think my husband has been very graceful with me, and because the line of work that I'm doing, it seems public, but prior to that, there were a lot of things that I was pushing in him. So now it seems like it's almost like he's giving me a turn as well, and it should be give and take, give each other turns. There's things where money, it might not be we're going to an international trip, but we can invest in a second degree, because that gives us further opportunities down the road. So you've got to keep thinking about the bigger picture, what happens 2 to 3 years from now, because we're raising these children and they're growing with us. But above all, pray. I keep saying this to first-time moms as well. A rash is a prayer point, right? Our daughter had a rash and it would just not go away. So the pediatrician tried 2 different creams until God said pray. And 2 days later, the rash ended. We still don't know what happened with the rash, but there is nothing you cannot pray for your child. Your child will not wake up at 16 and confess the blood of Jesus. You teach your children now that we pray. This is a praying house. This is how we walk in this house. And even auntie, the people that are working for you understand that, okay, there's certain things I will not do because this house is a praying house. So don't be afraid to pray and teach your children from an early age. This is how we are going to walk. And lastly, I know people don't say this enough, enjoy it, because God has trusted you with this person, which means there's something in you that you don't know, but he sees in you, and this child is going to bring that out in you. And God bless you.
Wow, that was amazing. I enjoyed that conversation.
As she was actually saying, there's a verse that I thought about, from Proverbs 22, verse 6, where it says, direct your children onto the right path, and when they are older, they will not leave it. Elenemfam, I'm not going to preach on this. I'm not going to start preaching, but I mean, it really, when you guys were talking about it, to say that, you know what, just make sure that they know what, like your core values at home. They, when they grow and go out there, they know exactly that my mom, my dad would not approve of this. And because the life is tough out there. But with that being said, elenemfam, may your neighbors respect you.
Troubles neglect you.
And family embrace you.
God bless you.
And may your shame and pain be champagne.
Bye.